Okay, here we go with a look at my Ruger SR22 rifle, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can dress up this kind of plain looking forend and make it a little more tactically capable. Before we get started, let's go ahead and perform a safety check and promote that safe habit. You can see that there's nothing in the magazine well, there's nothing in the chamber. We're handling a safe firearm, so let's go ahead and begin. Before we start looking at the rails, let me show you the two aftermarket parts that I have installed on this rifle. I have the Archangel AA-15 pistol grip. This is my favorite AR-15 pistol grip. I really like the extra width of the beaver tail and how when I place my hand on the pistol grip, my finger falls right where I would like it to fall on the trigger. And then I have a Magpul UBR stock, and this is my favorite Magpul stock. It's actually my favorite AR-15 stock. I really like how heavy duty it is, and I like the shape and look of it. So in the spirit of stepping this rifle up tactically, I have some Iron Eagle Tactical Picatinny rails. Now these rails have some unique features about them. You can see on the SR22 rifle Picatinny rail that it looks like a pretty standard Picatinny rail. Those slots are all squared off. And the Iron Eagle Tactical has kind of a unique look to it. It has a rounded notch. And the thought behind that is many of the accessories that fit onto your Picatinny rail have a screw or a bolt that goes through and holds it into these Picatinny slots, and this is supposed to keep your accessories more fixed precisely into place. Another one of the features of this Picatinny rail, you can see that it's got a hollowed out channel on the backside of the Picatinny rail. It's got several entry and exit points in that channel. If you are running a flashlight or a laser on this Picatinny rail and it's got a wire that connects to a pressure pad, you can take your wire, tuck it into one of these entry points, run it in this channel behind the Picatinny rail, out one of these exit points, and down to your grip, so you can conceal your wire behind the Picatinny rail. Now I've got a quad rail set here. This is the rail set 102C that Iron Eagle Tactical offers on their website. They have lots of different options for different rail lengths. Some of them start here and end here. Some of them start here and end here. Some of them start here and end out here, so you have a little extra length. You can get short Picatinny rails for the side. You can get full length Picatinny rails for the side. You can get different lengths for the underside. Now I have opted to get the full length on the side from the front of the handguard to the front of the Picatinny rail on the SR22 rifle stock, and I got the short 6 o'clock rail so that when I attach this rail I still have enough room to mount a Harris bipod. The screws are provided and the forend is already drilled and tapped to accept these rails. So let's go ahead and get started installing these rails. They take a 1/8 Allen key, and it's pretty straightforward assembly. Alright, so that's what the Picatinny rails look like, all installed on the handguard. I feel like this really dresses the firearm up, makes it look more complete. I felt like the Picatinny rail that came up to this point and then dropped steeply down, and then you had a very plain cylinder looking handguard. I just felt like the whole thing just looked goofy without any kind of rail. And if I was going to do only one rail, I would make this a monolithic Picatinny rail just to make it look right. I feel like without this rail, this whole rifle just looks goofy. Now this is a Type 3 anodization, and I was noticing that it just looked like it had like a white powdery kind of like dirt on it. And I would try cleaning it off, and I called the manufacturer. I was like, is there something wrong with the finish of these Picatinny rails? And he said, no. With Type 3 anodization, it'll actually pull dead skin off of your hands, and if you're just touching the rails with your bare hands, they'll look kind of cloudy and white. So to combat them looking filthy, I have picked up some ladder rail covers. Now this won't completely cover up the Picatinny rails, but it will help keep your hand from making contact with most of the surface of these rails. Now these rails for me right now are kind of cosmetic, but they do give me options to mount lasers or flashlights or so on and so forth. So I'm gonna take and set these on here. These are the Ergo 25 slot Picatinny rail ladder covers. And I ended up needing to trim just a little bit off of the ends of these rail covers. I was a little concerned with these slots being rounded. I was concerned that these ladder rail covers would not fit into those round slots. But you can see I have no trouble getting these ladder rail covers mounted onto this Picatinny rail. I have my Tack vertical grip that I modified a few videos ago to kind of shorten it to a medium length. And then adding the bipod. And that's what it looks like all completed with the bipod. You can see that this rail kit allows for enough space for the Harris bipod, but you cannot use the Harris bipod with the swivel feature. I tried mounting that bipod onto this handguard with this rail, and it just did not fit. There wasn't enough clearance. So you'll need to use the fixed Harris bipod, not the swivel Harris bipod. So this gives you a close look at the Iron Eagle tactical rails for the Ruger SR22 rifle. It's a big world out there, and we're bound to run into a shady situation. Until then, keep your gear on you.